Hey dudes, Conan Librarian here. Just woke up, smashing out a pickups video for you guys because I know you love them. Because it's all I'm about. All I'm. It's just what I do. Fuck. This is really the first major one I've had since moving to my new area, and yeah, I think I did pretty good. First one I found, which is awesome. I've never found a penguin sci-fi before. So John Wyndham, the Kraken Wakes, which is awesome. So I have been looking for this one because I brought with me from home the Chrysalids by John Wyndham, and then I'm pretty sure he did the Triffids or something, which oh, Kraken Wakes. Little synopsis, handwritten as a bookmark. Yeah, I think he did the Triffids, something about the Triffids, and I have that as well, but I didn't bring it with me. But I was kind of spewing didn't bring it with me, but I'm sure I'll find it somewhere. Yeah, I thought this is really cool. I've never seen one of these ones out in the wild before. I've known about them, but yeah, that's awesome. I got a World of Warcraft book. This one will just go up on Etsy. I'll wait and bundle it together because it's a rather thick book. It's unfortunately going to cost $10 to post. So, but I can fit 2 or 3 of these for $10 as well, maybe 4 if I squeeze them in. So I'll bundle that up with something else, another Warcraft book. But they sell really well. I used to sell these just like that from my booth that I had and the markets. So once the Etsy store grows a little bit more, maybe they'll sell just as quick. I have added some more stuff to Etsy recently as well because I did sell another book. So that's awesome. Just slowly trickling some books out, which is fantastic. Kong Reborn. I have no idea. I just saw it said Kong on there, and it seems to be some sort of like some sort of sequel. It could also be there's a Kong sequel movie that was made in the 90s or something set in Manhattan. I think this just could be like a book version of that, which is awesome. I have a book. I don't know if I brought it with me, but it's called it's something about Kong's I can't think of what it's called. It's gonna piss me off now. But it's basically the movie Kong, the original movie Kong, but told from his perspective. So it's Kong telling the movie, telling the story. Yeah, it's just really cool. But yeah, Kong Reborn. I found Starship Troopers. How awesome is that? It is the movie cover, but I had this before and I didn't realize that this was the actual story. I checked and was like, oh, is this the actual book that I just read? And it's exactly the same. It's just got the movie cover on it, which is freaking good. I thought this might have been like a retelling of the movie, but no, this has just got the movie cover of Starship Troopers on there, which is awesome because I did have a copy of this and I sold it at my booth. And when I realized I had it in my booth, I was like, oh, I better go and check, and it was gone. So it is very popular. It's still a sought after copy of the book, but I'm keeping this one. So because my copy of Starship Troopers is absolutely haggard, and I'm still keeping that one as well because it's more of a vintage copy. But this one is be an awesome one to read again. I can just leave the vintage one on the shelf, untouched. I found Son of Spellsinger by Alan Dean Foster. I can't remember if I have this one or not. I have a bunch of the Spellsinger series, but they're all in storage, so I've got no idea. So I'm essentially starting from scratch again while I'm down here reading what I'll read, and then when I find that I've got doubles or whatever, then when I bring some stuff over from my unit, then I'll worry about bundling them together and putting them on my Etsy store. This one I definitely know I've already got in this game, but it was only $1.50. It's got a bit of spine curvature on there, but it is still an incredible reading copy, and I want to get a couple of these together and bundle them up for the store. This is awesome. I got this little omnibus, Marion Zimmer Bradley. This one's for me, if I don't already have it, which I'm pretty sure I don't. Not in this omnibus form. This is the Ages of Chaos. It has Storm Queen and Hawk Mistress in here. Haven't read any of her stuff since Mists of Avalon, the longest time ago, and I never completed it because I was too busy going out drinking. So I'm going to get back to it one day. Good thing about this one, this particular book, is it has in the start here a reader's guide to the novels of Darkover, which is really good because I had no idea on how to actually read those and just assumed that you start with the Mists of Avalon. I don't even think that's in the Darkover series. I've got no idea, but at least when I want to read the Darkover, because I have a lot of the Darkover stuff. Again, not here, but that's all right. This one is almost the first one you want to start with. Where did it? You want to start with the Founding, which is Darkover Landfall, but then you can start with this one. So there's a book I've got to find before this one, which is fine. I'm sure I'll find it. There's a couple of secondhand bookshops up here that I want to go check out. They just haven't opened up yet. So I got Green Mars and Blue Mars in these awesome covers. I think they're like late 90s covers. These are only $1.50. Yeah, 96, mid-90s, so 96-ish. I do have these already, not these particular covers. I got those ones. They're a much newer version. They're like fully red and then fully green, so I don't actually have blue. So I've got blue here, finally, and then I've got green, but I don't have red Mars with me. I'm spewing. I wish I had brought them with me, but I'm sure I'll find red Mars. Again, I'll go to the bookshop that's local here, and I'll see if they've got red Mars in this set. Then I'll keep this trilogy, and I'll just move on the other two that I've got because they're more of a modern one and they're really good condition. So I don't mind having these ones. These are in fine condition. They're just more perfect for me. So these are really good. I do want to read these. I want to try and read the first one this year, Red Mars, but we shall see. I do have a box of TBR that I might show off in a separate video and talk about my TBRs for this year, because I've been watching a few other people talk about their TBRs for 2023, and I finding it very fascinating, so might share as well. But they were $1.50, so I couldn't leave them there. Same with this. I think this is $1.50 as well, and it's book one in the Riganti series by David Gemmell. I want to read some Gemmell. Never read Gemmell before. I've never even owned Gemmell before. I have a couple of his things, his stories, but not here. That's going to be a reoccurring thing. Don't have it here. But yeah, this is Sword in the Storm. I don't know. It was just $1.50, so maybe $2. A lot of these are either $1.50, $2, or $3, with the exception of a couple of the coffee table books with $4. Shadowkeep. Alan Dean Foster. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. This is awesome. Cool cover. I don't know anything about it. I just thought it was Alan Dean Foster. G.C. Edmondson, To Sail the Century Sea. You know, I like my ships, and this is in space. That just is awesome. I have a feeling I've got this before because the cover looks very familiar. So I'm pretty sure I have picked this up, but I just don't have it on me. So that's fantastic. We got Paul Anderson, The Dancer from Atlantis. I picked this up because it's Paul Anderson and it's got Atlantis in the title. You know, I love my Atlantis books. This one's got a sick cover. This is Monica Hughes, Sand Rider. Never heard of it, but it's got a dinosaur on the cover, and it's definitely set in space somewhere on a planet. It's a kind of a dinosaur. It's a very veiny dinosaur. But that's great. Speaking of dinosaurs, I was so stoked I found this one because this one has been on my radar for a little while. So I've seen somebody else pick it up. I can't remember who it was, but this is Ray Bradbury presents Dinosaur Samurai. Two of my favorite most favorite things in the world, dinosaurs and samurais, and they're on the front cover of this book with nice embossing. Oh, so good. I just picked up this. This was like, I think it was $1.99. The Train, Don't Ho. This is one of those point horrors. And I picked up in my last video book 3. I think book 3. Yeah, book 3 of the Martin Middleton Chronicles of the Custodians. I can't remember if I have book 4 or not. There's actually 6 books in the Chronicles of the Custodians, but the first trilogy is its own story, and then the second trilogy is like 200 years apart. So this is the start of the second trilogy, set about 200 years from the third book. I haven't started reading the first book yet, but I did bring the first book with me. So I think I've got, well, it's a first and second book in like a little omnibus. So now I've got the first 4 books in the series. So I'm going to, after I read a couple of more horror books, I'm going to probably start with these Custodians, the Chronicles of the Custodians. So this is great that I've got book 4. I don't remember if I have this one, but I didn't bring it with me. So at least I've got it up here. And I'm going to probably pick up all the Martin Middleton books regardless, because he's such a hard one to find, even though I've been finding a couple recently, but I don't find them very often. I'm just going to pick them up regardless, because they're definitely worth bundling together, either putting them on my Etsy store or sending them away to my friends in another country. Speaking of Martin Middleton, I got book 3 of his Living Towers trilogy. This one I don't think is related to Chronicles of Custodians. I'm not 100% sure, but this is book 3 in that series. I'm pretty sure I already have it, but just not here. I got a Brian Jacques. This is my first Brian Jacques book. I've been meaning to get the Redwall series for a long time, because I love these little animals that act like humans, and especially like Animals of Farthing Wood, Wind in the Willows. That's why I picked up all the Duncton Wood stuff. So this one I have... Look, I've known about these guys and Redwall and stuff since the 90s, late 90s, when I was in high school, but I just never read them. I don't know, I just maybe had a different mindset back then, but I do want to check them out because I've heard really good things about them. So I've heard they're a bit, they're not as adult as perhaps Duncton Wood are, from what I understand, but I could have got that completely around the wrong way. But this is, I think, the second one. This is Moss Flower. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the second one. So I do need to find Redwall. I do find them out quite a lot, but they're pretty trash, so they must be very well read. And at the end of the day, if it's only a couple of bucks, it probably doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, this one's in really good condition. So this, I was so stoked to find this one. This is Dragonfire by Charles Ashton. This is actually the trilogy of his books. They're a very young adult. Well, it's not very young adult, but they are a young adult fantasy trilogy. And they are extremely hard to find. I was lucky enough to read the trilogy in high school, and absolutely fucking loved them. They're about this kid, and he's sort of like in one sort of world, and then there's another world where he exists as well, and he gets these magic powers, and it's just really, really cool. It's a typical sort of fantasy, but it's got like it's got a couple little twisty things in it as well. So it's called, the first one is called Jet Smoke and Dragonfire. The second one's called Into the Spiral. And the third one is called The Shining Bridge. This is all 3 in one. This, I haven't looked up, but I have a feeling this could be quite rare, quite uncommon. I've never seen it before. I didn't even know it existed. I know the original 3 books are very, very hard to find, because I've only ever found 1 and 2. I've never found the third one, and I've only ever seen 1 and 2 once. Aside from the ones that I read in the library at my high school, I've never, ever seen them, and I don't think I ever will anytime soon. So to have this in the collection, because absolutely stoked to have that. So I'm going to read this again later on in the year, because it's one of my all-time favorites from my high school days. So pretty happy to have that. And I wish I had brought the other ones up with me, because they're worth a little bit. Those single editions, the single volumes. So to get this one, I'm pretty stoked. I just got this because it's a trilogy. This is Claire Carmichael, the Virtual Realities trilogy. Virtual Realities, Cybersaw, and World Warp. I have no idea, but it had dinosaurs in it and stuff. I think it's a bit of a YA. Words are quite large in there, so I don't know. Could be an interesting read. This one just had a nice cover. So Anne Chamberlain, The Merlin of Oakwood. Nice little hardcover. Seems to be a standalone, and it's got Merlin on it, so you know, like my King Arthur type stories. I got another one of these, the Belregard Volume 2. I'm pretty sure I have this one, but again, I'm just going to pick these up because it was only $2 or $3. So I'm just going to pick them up as I find them. This has Castle of Wizardry and Enchanter's Endgame in it. So I'm pretty sure I have a Volume 1, possibly a Volume 3, maybe just the Volume 2. But I have a few of these editions, so I do want to collect them all anyway. So I'm just going to pick them up. What I don't need will go on Etsy. I found some awesome vintage hardcover sci-fis. These were $5 each. I do remember. These were $5 each, and they were all in the same place. So all together, pretty happy to find them. This one is Alien Embassy by Ian Watson, winner of the British Science Fiction Award for the Jonah Kit. So I have to look out for that one. So this is like a little book club edition from somewhere. It's a Readers Union group of book clubs originally published by Gollancz. So I have no idea about that at all. We got The Star of Hesiod by Joan Renke, Dobson Science Fiction. So that's really cool. The King Awaits by Janice Elliott. This is Walker Books. And then this is awesome. That was those three. Yeah, those three. So that's really cool. I've never found hardcover science fiction vintage like this in the wild before. And the place where I found all these books, like a majority of these books, they had so much more, but I had to limit myself. Definitely had to get this one because I mentioned in my last video I was looking for a copy of Slugs by Sean Hudson because that was one of the first books that he wrote, possibly the first. And I didn't have it out of all the ones I got. Now I do. It's got Lucy's Child in it as well, but I have that. I think I have that in paperback form. But this is so good. I've been wanting to read Slugs. I'm going to read this one as soon as I finish Carey. I finished Spawn. I'm starting Carey. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. I'm only a few chapters in, so I'm going to read Slugs next, and then I'm going to maybe move on to my fantasy. But that's so good. I'll quickly go through some little YA that I got. This just looked familiar from when I was a kid. This is a Super Brew of Manga Longaloo. I don't know. It's a little puffin YA junior novel that I'm sure I read back in primary school in the late 80s, early 90s. I found another one of these. I told you I find this one all the time. Still more 2-minute mysteries. So I had to pick it up. It's just my Apple paperbacks. I do love my Apple paperbacks. I find one Barfarama last time, and now I found two. These are so funny. This one is called My Runny Valentine, and it says like "Love Me Snot" on there. Gold, absolute gold. But this one is why I picked it up because it's just I laughed so loud at the shop when I found it. It's called Jurassic Fart. A fart this bad should be extinct. Dino death gas. Like this is gold. This is just absolute gold. These are really hard to find, and I was so stoked that I found these. These are at a Salvo's up here, and these are the Battle Royal individual manga editions. These are extremely out of print, very rare, very hard to find, and very expensive to buy singularly. They're about $40 each, maybe $30 each. So these are hard to come by. I've got a few. I don't have anywhere near the full set. A full set of I think 15 will go for about $400, which is crazy. But I've got Volume 9. Battle Royale is one of my favorite stories. Volume 14. I love the movie. I've got the Volume 10. I've got the text. Was it the actual novel of it as well? And I think I have some other just omnibus edition of the Battle Royals. But these Tokyo Pop manga are very, very hard to find. Got another little Apple paperback here. It's called The Library Card. It's about this kid, his name's Mongoose, and he finds a blue library card hidden among the candy that he shoplifted. And then his friend Weasel tosses the card away, but the card comes back. So it's like a magic library card or something. So you know how to get that. I just got this because it's Godzilla. It's a junior novelization of Godzilla. The movie. I got a couple of these Betty Wen Wrights. Actually, no, this is only one Betty Wren Wright. Ghost in the House. I already have this one, but I'm going to get a few of these together and bundle them up for Etsy. And The Ghost of the Noonday Sun. I have that one as well, but again, for Etsy. This one is Margaret Clark. She's an Aussie author, and she writes a lot of stuff for like primary school kids and stuff like that. Back in the 90s. This one was from 1998, and I vaguely remember this one. It's called No Fat Chicks. And she wrote a book. I'm just trying to think of the book that she wrote that we read. Living with Leanne. Yeah, Living with Leanne was what we wrote as what we read in, I think, year 7 or 8 in high school. So this one's just, I don't know, it just seems, I want to know what this one's about. Just going off that title is crazy. I got My Sword is Singing. My Sword Hand is Singing. I don't know, it's like just some sort of vampire movie. It just seemed really cool. At first I thought it was a samurai samurai book, but he's just a vampire hunter. I got Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. This has been on my radar. I've seen this all over on Book Talk, so it was there. It was 4 books for $5, so this was one of the 4 books that I picked up. So I just got that one. This was the other book I got for $5. 4 for $5. Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. I didn't have this one. I've only got a select few of his stuff. I don't know what it's about, but it was just there. This, The Oath by Frank Peretti. I just had to add 2 books to my pile for $5, so I just added this. Some just random horror film book. And then I got Cloud of Sparrows, which was just another one I just added to the title, added to the pile to get it for $5, because those 2 books would have costed me $4 on their own, I think, or $5 on their own. So I got these other 2 for free. So it's just some sort of set in the age of samurai in the 1861 in Japan. So it's like the end of the sort of samurais, and America is sort of coming over and all that sort of shit. So not the Tom Cruise movie, which I actually really like. I picked this up because I want to read more non-fiction, and this is an Australian sort of story and a bit of Australian history that I didn't know anything about, and it's called Hellship, and it's about this is the true story of the plague ship Ticonderoga, one of the most calamitous voyages in Australian history. So I think it came from, sailed from Liverpool in August of 1852, crammed with a bunch of immigrants. They all get a terrible contagion, typhus. Is it typhus? Deadly typhus. And it's about how it comes into the ports of Melbourne, and sort of what happens from there. So the ship was flying its yellow flag of contagious people, and then like to say that it's got contagious disease on there, and then it just all hell breaks loose, I guess. People are worried that they're going to come onto and infect Melbourne, and it just seems like incredibly interesting. So, and absolutely devastating at the same time. So I do want to read that this year very soon. This I just got because of the title. I mean, look at the title. Samurai Boogie. I have no idea what this is. This is Peter Tasker. I had a quick look, and it's quite an uncommon book to find here in Australia. This is, I think, a UK hardcover. I'm not sure. Pretty sure they said it was a UK version. So yeah, it's awesome. I have no idea what it's about, but it's just with that title, Samurai Boogie, I had to get it. It was only $2. Same with this Elizabeth Moon. I've got a love-hate relationship with Bane. This is a nice hardcover, very, very good condition. It had original price tag of $52 on there, and I only paid $2. So I have a lot of Elizabeth Moon stuff. I'm sure I've got this one. This sounds really familiar. Against the odds. Really boring cover, if I'm honest there. And the last 4. This is a nice hardcover, ex-library edition, but I have I cleaned it all up. This looks really nice. This is Great Tales of the Golden Age of Science Fiction with an introduction by Isaac Asimov. So this is awesome. Look at that awesome cover. So bit sunfaded on the side there, but I do not mind. It's got Killdozer by Theodore Sturgeon, which is so good because I really want to read that. I don't have that one. That's probably the one I want to read the most, but yeah, this is just really cool. I still want a copy of Killdozer because it's got a great cover. And then in the same sort of series, this is the same sort of editions. We got the Great Tales of Mystery and Suspense. I had to get it. It's like a bit of sort of noirish sort of style, detective, murder mystery. It's got Edgar Allan Poe. There's a Robert Silverberg story in here. What did I see that one? Many Mansions by Robert Silverberg. So there's quite a lot of other ones in here that I recognize as well. It's got some Charles Dickens, Mark Twain. So some pretty cool ones in that. And the last two, I just got this because Buffy, you know I love my Buffy. I absolutely love my Buffy the Vampire Slayer, my Angel, and all that sort of stuff. This is the script book and information book on that one episode where they are in a musical called Once More with Feeling. Like many who like the show, that is my favorite episode. It is just so funny and an amazing episode. So I had to get this. I've got the soundtrack. I've got the, I think I got the vinyl somewhere as well. So had to get this. This has got all the music, the words, bit of information, just the script as well. So it's just had to get it. And then lastly, just to fuel my Star Wars nerdiness, I picked up this Complete Vehicles cross sections. So this is basically just almost all the vehicles, I would say, in the Star Wars film universe and possibly book universe as well. And they just go into cross sections and they just show you exactly how they're laid out, you know, how they're made, what's inside them and all that sort of stuff. So I've got a few of these ones, not this one in particular, but I have a couple like this. So this is just going to go into a collection. I do like these DK Star Wars books. I've got quite a lot of them. Not here, but yeah. So I had to get that one. I'm going to be flicking through this one today just for something to do. So that's awesome. That's all I picked up. And I think I've done pretty well. So let me know in the comment section what your highlights are out of this lot. For me, it's definitely Sean Hudson Slugs because I really want to read that so bad. And this Dragonfire book, so stoked to have the trilogy of this back in my hands because I never thought I would ever find it because the single editions are just way too expensive. But until the next one, guys, let me know in the comment section what you guys have been reading, and if you film a pickup video, please let me know that you filmed one because I love watching it. And until the next one, guys, stay safe, stay happy, enjoy your reading, whatever it may be, and just take care.